Welcome back to the Hodgepodge Hobbit, where I do my sewing chores and also sometimes my siblings' sewing chores, so they don't have to. Today, my eldest sister asked me if I would attach 2 ace-wrap bandages together. Why? I don't ask questions, I just do. Nah, I'm kidding. She's a university lecturer, and these are just for a lab setting practice wrap, not for you if you are actually injured, because shorter bandages cost less than long ones, and my labor cost is free, so sewing together 2 short bandages to make one long lab-worthy bandage is ultimately cheaper. Now I started this project at well past 2 in the morning. Look, I got distracted writing for a work project that in my defense was a really interesting historical rabbit hole, but when I got away from that around 1:30, I was unfortunately wide awake. So I began by attempting the hazardous route that is exercise, just to see if it was like restless energy. That did not work, like at all. So I tried to be super quiet, which for some reason trying to open plastic packaging quietly at 2 a.m. is like way harder than I remember. But once I finished opening all the packets, I started to finally feel the sleepiness kick in. So moral is, if you have insomnia, I don't know, I have absolutely no advice for you. And look at that, we're back in the daylight and we're doing great. Just a tad bit sleepy, but not to worry, we've got tea around here somewhere. Unlike y'all, if my poor sleeping habits weren't enough of a tip off not to copy me, never use these if you actually need a long bandage. This will be too lumpy and bumpy for you. Too bulky at the seam, big no-no. Maybe if it was an emergency, but probably not, no. However, for this purpose, I used 3 zigzag stitches. Zigzag because it allows for stretch, 3 for security, and a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken, so 3 seems like the number to do. Half of these also came with a little Velcro patch on one side of the bandage instead of the metal clip thingies, so off camera after the fact, I got out my seam ripper and removed those, but in the process of doing that, I was on the literal last stitch of the last Velcro patch to remove, and I caught the seam ripper on a tough thread, and it gave way suddenly, and I ended up stabbing my thumb joint with the seam ripper. Don't do that. Tune in next time where we'll decide if Elrond and his magic ring feeling Velia had managed to sew these together any faster.